You're listening to Strange by Nature, your guide to the strange, weird, unbelievable, and improbable wonders of the natural world.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for being here today. I am Kirk Mona, and I am joined today by Rachel Ginza and Victoria Thompson. We are all professional naturalists who together have scoured the world for weird and wonderful wonders just to please your mammalian brain's desire for novelty. Isn't that nice? Let's do this.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to a very special edition of the podcast. This is episode 57, and you might be thinking, why is that special? Well, that's not a very interesting number.
It's
there
just
are 50
episode 57. Who cares?
Right, exactly. Well, you may have noticed that there are 52 weeks in a year, correct?
Yes.
Last time I checked.
Yes, very good. Oof, I'm glad the answer was yes. And then when we started this podcast, we actually did the first 5 episodes all at once. So we did episodes 1 through 5 right on day 1. So there's a bunch of content for people to digest and get to know. Some of you have been with us from the very beginning, so thank you so much for doing that. But what that means is that episode 57 is our 1-year anniversary. Woohoo!
Yay!
So exciting. This actually marks the beginning of season 2 of the show.
Fancy.
And we wanted to do something a little bit different, a little bit special, a little bit strange, if you will. And we've spent the year talking about a lot of weird, strange stuff on this show. But by far, I know, and Victoria, you know, and Rachel, you know, the strangest thing on this show is the host.
Yeah, we're pretty bizarre.
But we don't ever talk about us. So this week we thought it'd be fun to give the audience a little insight into us, your hosts. And to do that, we have brought along a very special guest, another naturalist from the field, a man who unfortunately does need an introduction because you guys don't know him yet, Mr. Brett W. Sieberer.
Is this the part where I start talking?
This is where you start talking, Brett.
Okay. Well, hi. Hey, you know what? I am super happy to be here. Thank you for asking me to be a part of this. I have listened to each and every one of these episodes. I look forward to it. I love it. And yeah, when you guys said, hey, we've got this idea about having you come on and ask us some questions so that our listeners get to learn more about us, I said, yep, definitely.
Now, one of the sort of premises of this show is that each week when we show up, we do not know what topics the other people are going to do. We like to be surprised by what's going to happen each week. And this week, we are going to be very surprised because we have no idea what's about to happen. We threw this over to Brett and said, hey, you come up with questions you want to ask us. Do not tell us what they are. Ask whatever you want. And so that's what you did, right?
That is exactly what I did. I sat and I thought about this for a while. I'm not going to lie. I've already told you, I've listened to all the episodes, and these questions are me flexing my fanhood for sure. I have dabbled in and around topics that you have brought up.
Oh, good.
And I thought, well, we got to listen to you talk about, things that each other was presenting. And we got to feel a little bit of, maybe kind of your true thoughts about whatever it was. But I think there's more to some of these topics that we could learn about all of you and kind of your true feelings about some of them. So that's what I tried to do with putting together these questions. So,
all right. Well, we're going to turn things over to Brett. Go ahead. Take it away.
Can I just say,
all right,
I'm
so
nervous.
we have 5 questions tonight. A couple of them are of the would you rather variety. I did throw one in. The third question is more, I think, job and or your experience as a naturalist related. A nice little reprieve from some of the more bizarre questions I'm going to ask. I am particularly proud of the 5th and final question, so we'll leave it at that. That is called a tease, if you will.
Officially more nervous.
I'm scared.
Well, Rachel, you should be, because I believe question number 1, you probably should answer first.
Right.
Seeing as this question involves 2 topics that you brought up and taught us more about, this is a would you rather.
All right. Let's go.
So there was an episode where you often send each other emails and you have each other look at pictures. And when some of these pictures are hideous, I love hearing the responses of, oh my, like, what is that? And the one that stands out to me the
I think
most
I know where this is going.
was, of course, the gob-faced squid.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my question is, would you rather kiss a gob-faced squid or bathe in a tub full of hagfish slime?
Hagfish.
Oh,
Wow.
oh, that's a good question.
I mean, the
I have a
gob-faced
question.
squid has those weird teeth-like thing that is probably going to try to bite you with.
That's true.
I
Now,
don't.
the gob-faced squid is also
It
very
is
small.
so small.
It is very small.
So, like,
A correction and a question, though. I brought the hagfish.
you did. Victoria brought the hagfish.
Yeah, I brought the hagfish.
Oh,
But my
did
question is,
okay. So
I was just very
Rachel
excited.
got really excited about the hagfish, though, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I think it was Victoria's topic, but Rachel was like falling out of her seat, excited about the topic. So
Hagfish are
that's
cool.
probably why you made that.
That's what I remember. Now, am I correct in
My
thinking
question-
that the gob-faced squid, and my apologies, Victoria, for not getting correct that you were the one that broached that subject. But does the squid not use that opening for multiple things?
Yes, it does. That is their. It's
Okay,
a squid,
so-
so it's multiple. That's their beak. It's a modified beak. So
So it's going to be
Sure.
really bad breath, like very, very bad breath.
I mean,
Yep.
you didn't say where I had to kiss it, so I could kiss it on.
I said on the mouth,
on the mouth.
on the mouth,
Ooh.
Rachel. Yeah.
or whatever
on the
else
mouth.
you would label that opening.
The opening. Yeah, that's how I would label it. Is the opening.
Are we talking like are we to imagine this is an actual gob-faced squid or like a human face size gob-faced squid? Are we this is like a mythical one that's been enlarged so that it's like human mouth size?
horrifying.
You know what? You choose. Would you like to kiss the little version or the larger version? I guess.
No.
I have another question. Is the tub just the slime, or does it still have the hagfish in it?
The hagfish have been removed. It's just the
just the
slime.
slime.
Okay.
And is it this? Maybe this is too fine detailed, Brett. But is this warm hagfish slime or is this cold hagfish slime? Like
I think
bathtub temperature?
It's room temperature. It sat in the tub for a while.
Room temperature.
Yep.
Okay.
It's not
So
warm.
cold,
It's not
in other
cold.
words.
Yeah, pretty cool. That's gonna make it grosser, I think.
I'm gonna kiss the gob-faced squid.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. As cool as hagfish slime is, like, that is very viscous. Like, they're looking to try to, like, make fabrics and polymers out of that stuff. So I would much prefer to just have one kiss with the gob-faced squid, be done, rather than trying to remove however much hagfish slime is all over my body. Which is still amazing and so cool, and I love them so much. But, yeah, I'm gonna kiss the gob-faced squid first.
Right.
And hope it didn't have an accident when you went in for that.
Exactly.
Right. I think I might have to go with the same. Although I do think that taking a bath in the hagfish slime would be an interesting sensory experience.
I'd be willing to try.
I think it would also be a very how do I put this? Very challenging cleanup. Right? Like it's gonna be
Yeah.
you're gonna be ruining towels and things. Like it's gonna be awful. Whereas
Under
like what
your
Rachel said,
fingernails, you're never
yeah,
going to get rid of
the
it.
the kiss would be over fairly quickly.
Well, as you say, Kirk, it would be a really interesting sensory experience to be in a bathtub full of hagfish slime.
I'm
Do
not
you
sure it's a
have
good
to-
one, but
Do I have to submerge my whole body, or can I just like sit in it?
ooh,
It's going to
And
be more than
may
a
I wear
wade. I mean,
underwear?
I would say you're going to be like up to your neck,
the
in
neck.
hagfish slime.
yeah.
To the neck. Okay. Yeah. I was leaning towards the hagfish slime, but the more I think about getting it off my body, the less appealing that becomes,
Right.
if possible. So I think I'm going to have to go and make this a consensus decision here and say I'd rather kiss the squid.
And I mean, and I
It's
suppose
really a
that's
very small squid.
It is very small.
Yeah, you can
right, and
you
it
can
is
make
a-
your
a
mouth really
brief-
pretty small.
It's a brief
to-
instant, as opposed
Yes.
to the duration
More of
of
a
a
commitment.
bath would be. So, all right, well, that's good. Good to know. Yeah, that picture was terrifying, and I know when you saw it for the first time, you all kind of felt the same way with those weird
Yeah, for
teeth, like-
anyone, for anyone that's newer to the show and has not heard that episode, like go back and check it out for sure, and then check out the pictures online of Gobface Squid.
It's on our social media.
But probably don't do it right before bedtime.
I
yeah,
mean,
it's pretty rough.
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, that's
All
a
right.
good start. What else you got for us?
All right, well, question number 2, I would say, is I mean, we were just talking about the squid, and I guess its main and or only orifice, if you will, right? I mean, it kind of has the one. I happen to be a big fan of the word orifice. It makes me laugh when I hear
Okay.
just because it's
it's a
kind of a
good
silly
name.
word. And so I want to know from you all, if you had to switch the function of 2 of your orifices, what would they be and why? Now, I tested this question on my family, and one of them was smart enough to jump in with, I just switched my 2 nostrils. No, we're not just switching nostrils or switching ears. There has to be a little bit more involved with this. So what 2 orifices are
gosh.
you going to trade functions for?
Wow.
That's a great, weird question.
Yeah.
I mean, you all talk a lot about the human body. I mean, and a lot of animals and a lot of the kind of the weirdness around some of their bodily or their systems. And so, yeah, I just think, there's maybe.
I've got an answer.
Go
I've got
for
an
it.
answer. I think it's an interesting one. I'm going to go with the eyes and the ears. And the reasoning on this
You
is
wanna be a
in nature
bird.
you do often see animals that have eyes on the sides of their head, and what it gives them is 360-degree vision, which I think would be pretty cool to be able to essentially see in 360 degrees at once. Now, you would be sacrificing some depth perception, obviously.
Just a little.
I'd probably never be able to drive a car again. But, if I had to make a choice, maybe it's a temporary thing. I think that'd be a cool experience to be able to see 360 degrees. It'd be pretty weird to have, like, your ear holes and your eye holes. But I suppose then if you keep your eyelids, whenever you close your eyelids, it would be like no, I'm not listening to you. You sort of close your eyelids, and then you wouldn't have to listen to somebody. So
That's an amazing
that
visual.
seems very useful. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's my answer.
I was thinking I would switch my nose and my ears, actually, because I don't know. I feel like it would certainly not give you as good hearing because you couldn't pinpoint the location of where something was coming from in the same way. But I feel like it would interfere with functions a lot less than some of the other choices. Like you can smell maybe more stuff that's coming in from around you.
Yeah, that was a better
And,
answer.
Then you can hear in the center of your face. I don't know.
I was going to say, I think the ears, like right up front, would be.
Seems like it could be worse.
Would be pretty astounding. So.
I moved.
Right. Rachel.
I thought about this, and there's some other.
Well, that's what I
orifices that
asked you to do.
considered.
So.
But I think I would switch my mouth and my nose
Okay.
Okay.
because
Eh,
then I'm not messing with my hearing or my depth perception with my eyes, and I don't have to it'd be cool to be able to see behind my head and everything, but I would just be able to everything that comes up I can sniff immediately, and if I really want to, I could then touch my tongue to my nose, and it would be so cool to be able to touch my tongue to my nose.
Okay, point of clarification here, though. When you say switching the role of the orifice,
Yes.
are you talking about switching the place so your mouth would be up on top and nose on the bottom?
No,
or are
the
you talking about
function.
you need to shove food? Yeah, you got to shove food up your nose then, Rachel.
Oh.
And you need to only yeah.
Oh.
See what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Although I think I kind of cheated by saying I would be able to see out of my ears. I don't know how that would work. But
I'm
I mean,
just-
there'd be eyeballs in my ear holes. I think it'd
Yeah.
still work.
Okay,
I'm
well, I
just-
take
But
that
you got to
back.
shove a hamburger up your nose.
Then I take that back very immediately. And
There'd be a lot of liquid diet with a straw up your
Be-
nose.
exactly, which sounds awful. I take it back. I'm going to switch my eyes and my nose then. Because then it's still kind of the same general, like I just have glaring holes and then I have really tiny eyeballs coming out of my nose. And then be like,
Do you have tiny
And-
eyeballs or like huge eyeballs shoved into your nostrils so they're all flared out?
That would be
Well,
uncomfortable.
amazing.
You could clean your eyes like a lizard too, then with your
I
tongue.
could.
Oh, gross.
Maybe my sight would be better.
Gosh.
I'm just going to make an observation that I noticed that we all stuck to the facial orifices.
Sure
I-
did.
well-
I thought about it and
I could think of nothing good coming of any other finesse.
yeah.
I
thought
figured
about it.
it would be more of a safe play on that. However, I left it open just to see if anyone was willing to go in that direction. So
In a southerly direction, you might
It's a
say.
family show.
Yeah.
I suppose. All right, so the third question I have for you is one that, deals or more, with each of you, your time spent as a naturalist. We spend time around a ton of kids, and the kids often say amazingly hilarious things.
Oh, the best.
I want to know what's maybe the funniest or most profound thing a child has ever told you while you have been teaching.
So funny or profound?
Yeah, I mean, something that kind of just stopped you in your tracks. Like, for example, when a child once said to me that I reminded him of his uncle, and I said, "Oh, is it because of my voice? Is it because of my beard?" And he's like, "Oh, it's your beard, but he's in prison too." In prison too? Wait, what?
You're learning
I
how
can
to
think of
cut
a
yourself.
couple. I'm trying to think which ones are the most appropriate to share.
Well,
Because kids say the darndest
they
things.
do. I will say the one that I always go to when I think of one of the funniest things I think any kid has ever said, to me at least. Because there's been some really profound moments of where kids are having those aha moments where they're just, this is really cool. But I think my favorite thing a kid has ever said, we were canoeing. It was really early on in my naturalist career. And we were talking about the watershed and how the water from Lake Independence goes to this other lake. It goes into Minnehaha, goes into Minnetonka, and all. It goes from Minnetonka to Minnehaha to the Mississippi River and all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. And we were just tracing that journey, and this kid got so excited because we asked, well, where does the Mississippi end? And this kid was so excited, they shouted just, Mexigolfico!
Mexigolfico?
Mexigolfico.
Nice. The Mexigolfico.
I remember looking at the
I
other
won't ever call it
naturalist.
anything else after this.
I remember looking at the other naturalists and just thinking, like, you're not wrong. You're not right, but you're not wrong. You have the spirit. We're going to count it. And
Outstanding.
It was years ago, and I guarantee that kid probably doesn't remember it, but it has stuck with me for years. It's so good.
Well, I've got a similar story, but I'm pretty sure this kid remembers what he said. One of the coolest things I got to do in my naturalist career was take a 15-passenger van full of middle school students out to the bottom left corner of North Dakota. We went out to Marmarth, North Dakota, out to the Hell Creek Formation to do a dinosaur dig for a week.
That's
And
what I was
we
going
were
to guess.
actually
Dude,
working-
that's dinosaur country.
Yeah, we were out there. It's basically in the very north part of the Badlands, working with the Marmarth Research Foundation. And we were literally, going to dig sites and learning all about like how people find dinosaurs and dig them up and prep them and stuff. And it was an amazing, amazing experience. And one of the guys who worked there was doing a bit of a lesson for the kids and talking about, why are dinosaur fossils found here? And it all has to do with the geologic history of the site and the fact that this used to be a swamp. And that swamp was where it was because the Rocky Mountains were rising up out of the ground at the time, it was about 60 some odd million years ago. And they talked about how a mountain building event is known as an orogeny, is when you have a mountain range coming up.
You told me this
And-
story.
And so he kind of
I'm already laughing.
retells the whole story, and then said, and he did a great teaching technique, which is to then repeat and say, okay, now let's go through the story again and have you guys kind of repeat some of this back to me. And he's kind of repeating, and he said, now, and of course the swamp was starting to kind of change because of a big event happening out west, just west of here. What was happening? And this middle school boy got so excited, and he's like, oh, I know. And he's like, yes, what is it? And he goes, the Rocky Mountain Orgy. And instantly realized what he had said. All the other middle schoolers are cracking up and dying. Our host who we're working with, he was just dying. We were laughing, and he's like, no, I didn't. And the guy who was sort of the wasn't quite a naturalist. The guy who worked for the Research Foundation just kind of went, no. I like that. We're going to go with
Yep.
that. That was
Yep,
kind of
that
his
was
response.
good.
He was like, you can't take that kind of thing back.
Nope, you're
But I'm
stuck
pretty
with
sure
it.
that kid is going to remember accidentally blurting that out for the rest of his life in front
Yeah.
of his peers.
Yeah.
Okay, this is my least favorite kind of question because as you guys know, I'm really, really good at remembering trivia.
You are.
And the flip
amazing.
side of that is I'm really, really terrible at remembering like incidents and quotes.
Solid.
Yep.
So I've been racking my brains and like I'm not coming up with anything that I can remember that anybody said, which is ridiculous because kids say funny things all the time and it just goes like in my brain and out.
Right.
I do remember an amazing incident that happened though, which was that I was out with a group of kids and we were heading down toward the lake at the nature center where I worked. And just out of the woods, this little bird flew and landed on one of the kids' shoulders and just perched there for about
No
4
way.
seconds and flew off again.
Wow.
That's so
It
cool.
was
Very cool.
amazing.
That's.
I don't even remember what kind of bird it was
Wow.
now, but yeah.
That changed
Cool.
that
That's
child's
awesome.
life.
I bet that was memorable.
Yeah.
You're
Yes.
a Disney princess.
Right?
I do incidentally have a runner-up story that I can tell that maybe since you couldn't think of one that involved kids saying something, Victoria, I can throw this in because I was debating between these two, and I was teaching a class, and we were talking about mythical creatures like the kraken, it's like giant octopus and so whatnot. And I want to make sure the kids understood the difference between like an octopus and a squid and all these things. And I put this picture on the board of an octopus, and I said, now, do you guys think this is an octopus or a squid? And they're all like, octopus. And I'm like, right, but why? Like, and how can you tell it's an octopus? And one of the kids goes, because it has 8 testicles. Like,
You're so close.
we're just gonna, and they were
No, I
little
looked,
kids.
and I'm
we're,
still not
we're
seeing
just like,
them. Where?
It's like, yes. Tentacles, good call. 8 tentacles, you're right. That's just, we're right on, kept going.
Oh,
Pretty
I
amazing.
love those moments where I am tested as to whether or not I can be the adult in the room.
Very much so.
But Brett, that happens so little.
Right, I understand, but yeah, it's
No.
Because yeah,
kids are
often I
great.
just want to die laughing, but
Oh,
I
so
know that
Like-
there are feelings involved, that everyone's watching. But yeah, I love then going immediately. You're running back to the back room to share that story with another naturalist. Like, dude, guess what just happened?
Oh yeah.
So,
There are several stories with you, Brett, that when you asked that question, they immediately came up. But I thought Mexigolfico would be a little more timely for our purposes. But there's been
you
some...
didn't want to talk about the time the kid asked whether or not we were going to see a dead body. Is what
Oh,
I'm
that was
hearing.
one of the stories that definitely came up. Yeah, you're gonna see a
Yep,
dead
well,
body. I will never forget that.
Maybe on a future episode. All right.
Yeah, we'll leave everyone in suspense on why the kid thought they were about to see a dead body as they were digging.
Yeah.
Just spoiler, they didn't. That's the important thing. They didn't.
They did not,
But
and
there was-
we
there was-
received no complaints by any of the parents.
They did not find the remains of a dead human. That is true.
Correct. All right, so moving on back into Bizarre Land. Each and every week, your episodes, you definitely put thought into the titles. And my favorite title to date is, it makes me laugh every time I think about it. It was A Wet Spot in the Savannah.
Yeah, and that was one that I think
Good one.
I think that was one where as we were recording, once that was said, we all kind of went,
That's it.
well, there's the title.
Yeah.
Right. And so, yeah, that moment, like that episode and what I learned about hyenas, it stuck with me because I just like, wow, I never knew. I didn't know. But what I want to know is this. Would you rather be shrunken down into a teeny tiny adult version of yourself, teeny, and be birthed by a hyena, or would you rather fight an emu with your bare hands?
Ooh.
Wait,
Whoa,
and be what by a hyena?
Birthed
Birth?
as a
Birthed
tiny
by a
adult
hyena.
version of yourself.
Got it. Okay.
Or are you going to go toe to toe with the bird that an entire army couldn't eradicate in Australia?
I don't know if I could win against an emu.
Do we get to come back to normal size after having been birthed?
Yes. That is a
Okay.
great. Sorry, I left that small detail out. Yes.
Is this a fight to the death with the emu?
Are we going to be attached to an umbilicus so that we can...
Or is
Yeah,
this
can we breathe? Or we
breathe?
Hold on.
we find
two
scuba
people-
gear? What are we doing here?
Two animals enter, one leaves. That's what you're asking.
Yeah.
Or
not-
is
Well,
this
it's your
like
question.
An,
We just want to clarify
unconscious
the
level
parameters.
Here? Is this like First Blood or what?
I guess I just assumed that, like some animal fights, eventually the one that knows they're losing just tucks tail and leaves. I didn't need to see a death. I didn't anticipate death. But I
Well,
guess
as we know,
it's-
emus are very hard to kill. So
well, right. And so, yeah, I just think this is a tough decision that I'm curious as to know what each and every one of you think
Oh
about.
my god.
I don't
But are we
want
going to be
that
able
in a
to
memory.
breathe in the hyena situation?
I like how you call it the hyena situation.
I mean, you're going to survive. I know you said a lot of them didn't. You will survive the birthing of
Let's assume you have a little tiny scuba tank.
All right. Well,
And
I am
then,
not much
yeah.
of a fighter. So I'm going to be birthed by a hyena. Yeah.
You choose the hyena situation.
clitoris.
All right.
Oh,
You will be the wet
wow.
spot in the savannah.
Pseudo penis.
That's right.
Congrats. I'm gonna fight an emu.
I don't know if I can follow you. Yeah, I can't follow you there. I think I'm going to fight the emu because I think,
I
again,
will
it would be
lose.
over
There's
faster.
That. I will lose against the emu, but I
Yeah,
will
well,
rather
you could
fight
take
the
one good
emu.
hit. You could take one good hit and bow out, it sounds like, when you realize, Brett said, once one of the animals knows it's going to lose, it can run away. Although, you know, I don't know, really, in the real world, I mean, they were trying to shoot these emu.
Yeah, they were.
And having a very hard time doing that. They weren't trying to, like, box them.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you walked up to an emu and they took a swing at them, I don't know that they're going to fight you as much as they're going to be like, what on earth? And
I
just
mean,
like run away.
They might fight
So
you.
I think I
they'll
think I
try
stand
to
a
peck
chance.
You, and like
Sure.
they have big clawed feet, so and talons and such.
You talked
too,
about those
so,
claws.
Yeah, I
Are there cases of emus attacking people? Is that a thing?
that's a good question. I don't know.
Like a cassowary.
Cassowary
Right. Oh, yeah. Ooh,
absolutely does.
I would never attack one of those.
I'm doing a quick Google.
To the Googles.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't.
First that comes up is a video called "When Emus Attack," and I see a giant emu chasing a man. YouTube is full of emu attack, one-eyed emu attack, emu attack. These are the titles I'm seeing. Someone says, "What happens if an emu attack you?" They can run at 30 miles an hour. If cornered, they kick with their big three-toed feet. They're capable of eviscerating animals under the right conditions.
Yeah.
See,
However-
Victoria, she
However,
took the easy way
human
out, you
fatalities
could say.
are extremely rare.
Oh my gosh. But
Still might take my chance with the emu.
so they don't attack humans unless provoked.
Well, it sounds like you are provoking it. You're walking
Yeah,
up
you're
and
fighting,
swinging.
I'm gonna
fighting.
be fighting.
If that
the
first
emu.
swing is good enough, maybe they'll scare him off.
I'm still gonna like go toe to toe with an emu and see what happens. I'm probably gonna become a new wet spot on the savannah because just
A wet
it's
spot in
different
the
spot-
outback,
A
I
wet
think is-
spot in the outback, yeah. Just because
Or a wet spot in Perth. I'm not
it's
sure.
gonna be a Rachel puddle is what it is.
Wow.
But you know what? At least I
Is
won't
that
have
the episode
memory.
title? It's going to be a Rachel puddle.
But you know, I won't have the memory of being birthed by a hyena. So I will.
That's
take
the
that.
thing. I don't want that memory.
I don't either.
I'm okay not having. Yeah.
I'll go toe to toe with an emu.
I just like how quickly Victoria came to the decision that I don't have what it takes to face the emu, so I'm going out the other way.
Oh, to be clear, we don't either.
Oh,
Know
absolutely
thyself.
not.
You know?
Yeah.
No,
To thy known self be true.
that was outstanding. I didn't really know what to expect with that question. However, I do feel my final question is my personal favorite of this of the grouping. There is a game that I think some of you are familiar with. It involves 3 choices and 3 people, and you have to choose one for each person.
Yeah.
Now, we can't play that game here on this show. It's
Right.
not for this show.
fair.
However,
Yeah.
I have
Right.
my own version I have come up with
Oh,
that I feel is
okay.
far more appropriate. This game is
Alrighty.
called Eat, Ride, or Jacket.
Eat, ride, or what?
Right or jacket?
Jacket.
Or
Like make a
jacket. That's
jacket out
right.
of?
Like mega jacket.
I'm going to give you 3 animals, and you must choose which one you're going to eat, which one you're going to ride, and
ride.
which one you're going to make a jacket out of.
Okay.
We're going Cruella de Vil
options.
on it. Got it.
Your options are as follows:
Okay.
a platypus, a manatee, and a zebra.
Ooh.
Eat, ride, or jacket, platypus, manatee, zebra.
Oh,
Thinking
well.
this through.
My immediate thought was to ride the manatee.
Mine too, actually. Yeah. I'd like to ride the manatee.
I think
If
I
they're-
want to
they're-
ride
Stay
the
close to the
manatee.
surface, I think.
But at the
Was
same
one of them
time,
eat, did you say?
Yes.
One of them's eat.
Eat.
A platypus is too small to
boy.
ride.
Gosh, I'd feel real bad about eating a manatee. Because
Yeah.
it's like, they're kind of rare, but
Same with
I feel like a
platypus.
platypus wouldn't taste very good, but I know, as far as fashion goes, obviously the zebra would make the coolest jacket.
we talked about how the stripes could keep the flies away with the zebra.
Yes.
So if you made a jacket out of the
We
zebra,
joked about zebra
you
suits.
know, I talked about wanting to get a zebra suit for the summer. So that might seem the obvious answer. However, Rachel also talked about the platypus and mentioned that the platypus will phosphoresce or give off light
Yeah.
under UV.
That would be pretty
and so
cool.
like a kind of a glowing fur coat Sounds kind of cool.
You're going to need, I think, several platypi, if that's the plural of this, to actually fashion yourself a jacket, yes?
That is true. Less than you'd need of like a mink or some other similar animal people have made coats out
But
of.
here's a question: if we choose to ride the platypus, are we shrinking down to ride the platypus, or are we creating like a
great question.
roller skate type situation with a bunch of reins where I'm standing on some platypi and being skated across?
Oh my god!
I think it's more of like a tiny bite clown situation where you're just going to have to figure out how to make that work.
All right.
All right, I'm sticking with my initial thought, which is eat the platypus. It'll probably be gross, but I'll get through it. Ride the manatee, which will be super, super cool. Just like going through the water, just hanging out with the manatees. And the fly-repelling zebra coat.
I had the same initial
Fashionable.
thought, but I think I have to swap the zebra and the platypus because I feel like the zebra would taste kind of gamey, but it'd be really lean meat, and if you cook it right, it'd be really tasty.
So we're worried about the
Lions
cholesterol
like
levels
it.
of these
But-
animals, is what I'm hearing.
But it would be so fun to have a inflorescent coat, and then you could have like the tail is covered in fur too, so technically it would be like a little bit bigger fur, and it'd be kind of fun to have a
You could make a little
green-ish
hat.
I could be Perry the platypus, exactly,
Wow.
which would be pretty cool.
You know, for mine, I am also going to go with Jacket the platypus. And I'm thinking I'm going to make a hat too, where the bill of the hat is the platypus bill, because I think it would
like
go
it.
together really nicely. And also, yeah, the fact that like you go to a nightclub and all the UV lights, or maybe just the roller rink, I don't know, and the UV lights are on, and you just look really suave. I'm going to switch it up though. I think I'd like to ride a zebra because it seems. I'm sorry, I'm a practical man. It seems like the most practical animal to ride.
eat a
You can't ride a
manatee?
platypus. You can't. I'm getting there. You can't really. Can you ride an animal underwater? That seems kind of odd. I don't know. So I would ride the zebra because I think it'd be fun and you'd look super, super cool doing it. And then I feel bad about this, but I would eat the manatee. It is called the sea cow, and I like eating the land cow. So I imagine the sea cow's got to be real tasty, you know? Get some steaks, right?
I mean-
So I'd have some sea cow steak, maybe it's the new Wagyu. I don't know. So we'll get that. And I'm sure it's got lots of fat, probably nice and marbled. I don't
Marbled
know.
up, yeah, there
But
it is.
Yeah.
You don't know unless you try. Now, I would feel real bad. Everyone, please understand that they're like an endangered species, and I'm not advocating that I would actually do that.
Right.
But if forced to, I think I got to go with the animals in that order, yeah.
I liked
I
it.
do like
I
the
do think
idea of a platypus hat. I'm sort of, how they used to have the raccoon caps, like
Oh, yeah.
Daniel
Yeah.
Boone and that stuff. It kind of picturing a similar thing with the tail hanging down in the back and the bill in the front.
Uh-huh.
That'd be pretty
That
fun.
would be the new fashion trend, platypus hats.
That'd be pretty
I just
cool.
think if you tried to jump onto the manatee, it'd be like trying to jump on one of those like logs that people run on in the water. That
Oh,
you
yeah,
just kind of grab a
absolutely.
hold and you would just roll around over the other side. I don't know if there'd be any stability there.
I mean,
but,
I'd try to like fashion a saddle or like get a rope or something around it and just like hold on. It'd be a lasso.
manatee saddle.
Nobody talked about wearing a coat made of manatee. I feel like, it might actually be
Yeah, I don't
very
know, man.
durable if you needed sort
would
of
be
a
pretty
protective
Waterproof?
leather. Yeah.
Well, maybe that's
Armor.
Brett's answer. Brett, it's the last question.
You gotta answer.
How about you answer it too?
Well, having spent a lot of time around the deer fly, I am absolutely jacketing that zebra. When you all
You
talked
really
about it,
hate the deer fly.
Yeah.
I definitely, when I learned of that pattern may be a deterrent in some ways, I thought when let's get a zebra suit, I thought, yes, let's get matching zebra suits because absolutely. I'm
We should
intrigued
still
by
see if
riding
we can make that happen.
We do.
I'm intrigued by riding a zebra, but I've gone horseback riding. Horses are borderline scary because they're just huge and seemingly somewhat out of control. Although I know that that's not the case, but and then as far as the eat and or ride, because if I'm going to jacket the zebra, I agree with Kirk. The sea cow is probably going to be the tastiest. There's lots of different cuts there. Probably we'd get out of that.
Yeah.
You're gonna get some some
Probably.
jerky out of that. You're gonna be getting some steaks, some ground beef, some sausage.
It might be really fatty. I could imagine that though. The buoyancy
fatty.
type
Probably, yeah.
factor.
So maybe you can make sea bacon.
Ooh.
That sounds
maybe.
pretty good.
Wow.
But so I guess that leaves me.
I feel horrible saying that.
As you well should.
I guess that leaves me
poor-
trying to ride
poor
the
manatees.
platypus. I don't know what that looks like. I'm
like
worried I'm
roller
going to get
skating.
bit. Well, right, but I'm worried as I go to grab a hold of the scruff of its neck for any sort of support. It's going to bite me, and then I'm going to get that weird venom stuff, and it's not going
that's
to end
in
well.
its feet. That's in a little
Oh,
spur on
good.
its foot.
Perfect. Well, then you know what? Then bite away, I guess. And so yeah, I would say jacket the zebra, eat the manatee, and ride the platypus.
Simply stunning.
Amazing. I love that.
Well, that was question number 5. I hope everybody had fun coming along with us on this journey for our kickoff of season 2. We'll be back next week with our regular format of weird, strange nature. Want to say thank you to Brett for coming out today to ask us weird questions.
Thanks.
No
Brett.
way, man. Thank you all, not just for having me a part of this, but just each and every week doing the show. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy listening to it. I look forward to it. I'm super excited for a whole nother year of this. And I would say, let me come back next year to celebrate the beginning of season 3, and I'll have 5. We'll do 4 questions, but we'll do eat, ride, or jacket again with 3 other animals, because I just think that's a game that should be played in perpetuity. So.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
This is going to be the beginning of a
Awesome.
long and glorious tradition, I can tell already.
Absolutely, it is.
Let's be terrified of what animals you're going to bring to the party.
Yep.
Oh, well, thanks so much for
This has
coming.
been a blast.
Yeah,
great.
absolutely. My pleasure.
Have a great night, everybody.
Thanks everyone for listening to today's show. Be sure to subscribe. New episodes drop every Wednesday, and we love sharing this strange world with all of our listeners. If you would be so kind as to leave us a 5-star review, that would be great. It lets other lovers of the strange discover the show. You can reach out to us on social media by searching for Strange by Nature Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You can send us an email as well. Our address is contact@strangebynaturepodcast.com. If you want more information about the show, you can also check out our website, which is strangebynaturepodcast.com. Until next week, get outside, stay curious, and embrace the strange.